watching Twin Tiers Evening News with Jeff Androlonis and Alexa Olson. Now, from the Twin Tiers' biggest broadcast news operation, WVTT proudly presents Twin Tiers Evening News.
Good evening. I'm Jeff Androlonis. Alexa Olson is on assignment covering the presidential inauguration. The big story tonight on Twin Tiers Evening News. A blustery January day greets the beginning of President Obama's second term. The presidential inauguration earlier today, our Alexa Olson was in Washington, D.C. providing coverage for WVTT.
We, the people, declare today that the most evident of truths, that all of us are created equal, is the star that guides us still. Just as it guided our forebears through Seneca Falls and Selma and Stonewall, just as it guided all those men and women, sung and unsung, who left footprints along this great mall, to hear a preacher say that we cannot walk alone, to hear a king proclaim that our individual freedom is inextricably bound to the freedom of every soul on earth.
In addition to Alexa covering the inauguration for WVTT, there's another local connection to tell you about tonight. Students from St. Bonaventure University are also in the nation's capital tonight attending the inauguration. They're participating in a 10-day seminar with the Washington Center. Now, when they return to Olean, the students will create a book about the inauguration experience for college credit. New information tonight on a drug bust in Wellsville. Two people facing charges tonight. 43-year-old Richard Clute and 28-year-old Naomi Meagles arrested after the Southern Tier Regional Task Force and New York State Police based at Amity seized about a quarter pound of marijuana packaged for sale, along with scales and paraphernalia from Clute's home. The seizures made last Tuesday. State police say they also found an illegally possessed rifle and a small amount of Suboxone. Clute and Meagles are both facing misdemeanor charges tonight. The Olean City School District is continuing plans to fight for nearly $7 million in lost funding within the past 4 years. Back in December, officials participated in a march on Albany against further budget cuts. Early this afternoon, the administration, Teachers Association, staff, and students rallied at Senator Catherine Young and Assemblyman Joseph Giglio's offices here in Olean. The protesters then headed to the gazebo at Lincoln Park, where participating students explained what the district has lost due to budget cuts. If a mass shooting like the one in Connecticut were to happen in Olean, are local police prepared? Olean Police Chief Terry Schnell doesn't think so. That's why he's asking the city to make allowances in the budget for $70,000 worth of additional equipment. Chief Schnell tells WVTT he wants to replace the department's pump-action rifles with semi-automatic M4s. The chief also says that he would purchase protective tactical gear and go bags for all of the 11 department vehicles, which would contain extra ammo and other quick response gear. Meanwhile, gun owners in western New York gathered in Niagara Square in Buffalo over the weekend. Some residents drove there from Olean on Saturday to celebrate Gun Appreciation Day with a protest against what many are calling an intrusion into their Second Amendment rights. The rally was planned long before the recent government bans, but the event took on a new direction after New York instituted its largest and strictest gun control legislation in the country. A 75-year-old man in Bemis Point is facing sex abuse charges tonight. Ralph Bush is charged with sex abuse and endangering the welfare of 2 female juveniles between June and December of 2011. He was arrested and taken to the Chautauqua County Jail in lieu of $20,000 bail. A Wellsville man is facing DWI charges after he was arrested early Saturday morning. 23-year-old Timothy Danheim was arrested after police stopped him on West State Street in Wellsville for failure to keep right. Danheim is scheduled to reappear in Wellsville Village Court on January 29th. Police have released the details in Alfred. They say the January 4th bank robbery and the bomb threat at the Alfred Almond Central School may be related. Local authorities are now working with the state police to see if they can find any leads to connect the two events and find a suspect. An Allegheny County man will spend a year in prison for a white-collar crime. 35-year-old Nicholas Poltz of Freedom, New York, pleaded guilty to defrauding the Symphony Company for a complicated scam. Poltz was director of operations at Symphony. He created a shell company and funneled invoices for wireless services there, then bumped up the costs, charged Symphony, and kept the difference for himself. Prosecutors say he made $28,000 off the scam. In addition to his year in prison, Poltz will pay restitution. Police have released the details in the crash that took place on 219 last week in McKean County. 30-year-old Amy Pierce of Lewis Run was injured near the Crosby Mini Mart when she crossed into the path of an SUV driven by Deanna Hall of Bradford. Hall received moderate injuries in that crash and had to be flown to Olean General. As temperatures continue to fall, the needy in Olean will be better prepared for the bitter cold thanks to the donations of hundreds of coats and other winter gear. During last week's coat giveaway and free spaghetti dinner event at John Ash Community Center, more than 325 coats were handed out, along with hats, gloves, and scarves. The community donated over 450 coats in total, many with the tags still on them, ranging in sizes that would fit small children up to 4X. First Presbyterian Church in Olean held its annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. commemoration called Remembering and Sharing Sunday afternoon. The Faculty Student Association of Jamestown Community College, First Presbyterian Church, and the local Spiritual Assembly sponsored the event that included several gospel tunes, along with audio and video excerpts of Dr. King and poetry readings. A big weekend for the Bonnies. Both Bonna's men and women had big A10 victories this weekend. The women's team defeated Massachusetts in a 61-49 win at the Riley Center Saturday afternoon for the team's first victory in more than a month. And the men won 81-78 at Temple in front of a national TV audience on Saturday. This was both teams' first wins in A10 play this season. Student council members from Allegheny Limestone High School will place food collection bags on the front doors of Village Homes in Allegheny this Sunday, January 27th. This is the fourth year the organization has held the food drive to help increase supplies of canned and non-perishable foods at area pantries. Kane Community Hospital is preparing to raise awareness about heart health. As February approaches, medical and office staff will be wearing red every Friday in February. They'll also be offering free blood pressure screenings throughout February at all of their clinics at Kane Community Hospital. Still to come on Twin Tiers Evening News, our first look at weather. Also, our global news update is straight ahead as well here on News Channel 25 WVTT.